wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got some special guests in the building.
Yes, indeed.
We have Ice Cube and Dwight Howard. Welcome.
Good morning.
What's happening? Thanks for having us.
How y'all feeling, man?
Man, I'm good. I'm great.
Dwight, you too big to let Lance Stephenson toss you around like that. Now, what the hell was happening the other day? I couldn't believe
He ain't ready to let him toss him
didn't
around.
let
though.
him
He ain't let him toss him around like that.
No, you was holding back.
around.
You was holding back, wasn't you?
Here you go, Q. Already, we ain't even got it here yet.
Hey, you know, Dwight got to protect himself out there. You know what I mean? They was trying to, you know, put a little intimidation down, but Dwight wasn't having it.
But who could stop y'all two big guys? Like, it would seem like it was 9 people
Dwight
trying to...
way bigger than Lance Stephenson.
Gilly jumped in there trying to stop the fight.
Nobody stopped us. Everybody just was looking at us. My teammates, I'm looking back at the video. I'm like, where these niggas
Nobody.
is at? And they over there just watching. Cameraman, he got the video. He over there looking like this. I'm like, man.
So what made you grab him up? What did he say that? Because it got to a point, at first you was chill, and then you just like, nah.
He didn't say anything. He just started putting his hands up like he was finna start throwing punches. So I'm like, bro, you did it once, you did it twice. What's going on? But it was just too much. Just too much, man. We out there hooping. I just felt bad after, as soon as I grabbed him, I'm like, man, damn, I'm on TV. I'm with Q. Man, I don't want to make him look bad because
I can tell.
We just got the deal with CBS and everybody, so I'm like, man, I don't want this to look like what everybody say.
Yeah.
Two niggas always fighting on TV, so I'm like, damn, and it's my big ass and Lance. So after that, I called Cube and, you know, let him know, man, I really apologize for that. You know, we got to be better than that, and I got to be better than that.
Q, what was you thinking at first? When you seen the fight, I know you was like, damn, why they fighting? And it was like, the amount of press that they got, it was like, this is
Yeah, I mean, you never want
competition.
I mean, I love trash talking. You know, I knew it was gonna get chippy when they started kind of touching each other. You know, I don't like that part. And hey, man, it happens. Look, later on that day, it happened in the WNBA with two white girls. So
Exactly.
it happens. You know, it's when you know that the passion is there. Guys want to win. You know, guys still got that chip on
That's
their
what I
shoulder.
love about it. It
Guys
shows that they still got
yeah,
it.
you
They
know,
still
it's like
want it.
it's pride in the game. It just went a little overboard. You know, this is their first game in the league. So, you know, they got to just learn it. You know, it's a little more physical. You can trash talk, but we don't want it to go overboard.
You know, Dwight, you talked about being misunderstood in the NBA. Does the Big Three give you a chance to, like, I guess, rewrite your legacy on your own terms a little bit?
I just think I just have another outlet to play basketball, and I'm very thankful for Q for, you know, just giving me that opportunity. So I know I've done what I've had to do in the NBA. I'm not trying to go back and rewrite anything dealing with the NBA, but, you know, this is a whole new venture, and I'm glad to be a part of it with Ice Cube. You know, I watch his movies. I watched so much from Ice since I've been growing up. So to finally actually be in the same room with him, to be working with him, you know, it's an honor. So, you know, I be out there on the court again is a blessing. I played since I was 3, but to come back again at 39, still feel great about playing is awesome. So I'm just thankful that he's made an outlet and a platform for all of us to continue our career, because a lot of times when we get out the league, they just kick us out. It's like y'all didn't even play with us. So you know, I'm just thankful for these opportunities.
Now, you haven't officially retired from the NBA.
No, I haven't.
Do you look at the NBA and be like, I'm better than him, better than him, I'm better than him?
I do.
I'm way better than him.
I'll be like,
do you
man.
feel that when you look at the league sometimes?
Yeah, but then I had to realize it's not about who's better and who's not better. It's just what a team wants at a certain time. And they might not need a 39-year-old player on their team. They might want somebody younger who might not have the same name or anything like that, who, if they lose or win, it can be like, hey, this the player I drafted. I ain't get Dwight Howard. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough to look at it and be like, damn, I know I can beat him. But you can't look at it like that.
It's ageism. You know, it's everywhere. And, you know, we should start looking at people, not how old they are, but can they do it or not?
Skill level.
Can you do it or not? Because, you know, we got youngsters out there, too. You know, in the Big Three, it's 22 and up. So we got youngsters out there that can't do it. And we got guys out there that's in their 30s that can still do it.
Yeah.
And, like, that's all we care about. Can you put the ball in the hoop? Can you pass, dribble, and shoot and defend at a high level. And what do age got to do with it?
And congratulations too, man. Hall of Fame.
Appreciate it, man.
That's
I
right.
think
Well deserved.
It's crazy though, because you got one of the most decorated resumes in NBA history, but for whatever reason, it was a debate. It seemed like it was a debate on whether or not Dwight Howard should be in the Hall of Fame. Like, what do you think people were missing? What did they not understand?
I just think that a lot of times, in the era that I played in, social media became a thing. So once rumors or situations start to happen away from the court, I think that kind of shifted the attention of what I did as a basketball player to all the BS, and that became the forefront of the conversation. Oh, he got in trouble here. He did this. He was fighting with Kobe, this, that, and the third. And that don't have nothing to do with my actual resume. So people start looking at the resume and saying, well, dang, he was a bad teammate because Kobe said he did this and all these different things. So I think a lot of that had to do with that. And then, you know, there's a situation that I put myself in, you know, that people have taken that and said, you know, maybe this is why he is not as talked about. But I just feel like all that is excuses because other players, and they've had issues and stuff off the court, that still hasn't stopped them from getting their respect on the court and what they've done as players and stuff. So I just think it's BS.
So if your Hall of Fame speech had to be written by one of your biggest critics, who would you pick?
One of my biggest critics?
Yeah. And what would you want them to admit that they had wrong about you?
Oh, man, I don't even know if I paid attention to the critics. But probably somebody in the sports business like Stephen A. Smith to do it because he knows most of the players. I don't think he's going to give a biased opinion, you know, now. He's probably would back when I played, but now my career is basically over with in the NBA, so he can just go by strictly numbers or whatever it may be.
What reason would he have to give a biased opinion, even back then? Like, why be biased?
So I felt like all of them were biased towards the system, you know, back then with Skip and all of them. Like, certain players, it seemed like they always got the short end of the stick. They're always talked about in a bad way. And then you got some players who, they don't get that, you know, that same treatment.
Now, they always talk about your relationship with Kobe and off again, on again, and how you guys were. Why do you think that is so detailed with your career so much? Like, he just talked about all your accolades. He just talked about all the things that you did. But that relationship, it seems like for most is everything. But Kobe had his stuff as well, too.
Man, this man was teammates for one season.
And that's crazy.
So it's like, how are you going to compare our relationship to Kobe and Shaq or anybody else? We didn't have time. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was just, they needed a scapegoat when I was with the Lakers, and it got to be somebody. They ain't going to blame Kobe.
It should have been Steve Nash. That should have been the scapegoat. He the one came and got hurt game one.
Yeah, he missed
and
most of the whole season.
Was thrown off from there.
Yeah, and I came with the Lakers off a herniated disc. I was supposed to miss the whole season when I came to the Lakers. I missed I came back in 4 months. I had a torn labrum that year. I still played, you know, so it's like they took all of my issues and made it seem like Dwight's the problem for this team. And instead of me speaking up about it, I just let it ride because I'm like, what am I don't need to go back and forth or tell people like, no, it wasn't my fault. I didn't do this. I just feel like once you do that, it kind of like makes you seem like you was the issue. So I'm like, man, whatever city I go to next, I'm going to just ball out. If we win, we win. If we don't, I did my job.
What's your relationship like with Shaq these days?
And what the hell? What happened with you and Shaq? How did that start?
I have no idea.
I know they were saying Shaq was upset about the nickname that
Superman?
Yeah, he said you didn't live up to it. You took his nickname and didn't live up to it.
Damn.
I didn't know that was his nickname.
Yes, you
Yes,
did.
you
Come
did.
on now. Superman, come on. Cut it out.
Shaq was Superman?
Yes.
Where?
He had the logo
big
on
S
his
on his
arm
thing,
and
the S
everything.
on his arm.
Had
Did
it on
he
all
make
his cars.
did he make himself Superman, or was that something that was given to him by everybody else?
He was the Man of Steel.
Is that Superman?
Yes.
Come on, man. So he got the Man of Steel. He got all the nicknames.
Hey, man.
I didn't even name myself Superman. I went in the dunk contest, did the dunk contest
Put the
with the
cape on.
Superman outfit on, and everybody started saying Superman after that. It wasn't no knock at Shaq. Really, it was Soulja Boy. If you want to keep it a bean.
Soulja Boy.
Soulja Boy did it first.
Soulja Boy had the Superman song, and that was my favorite song because everybody know I'm known for dancing and doing the Soulja Boy all the time. So I'm doing it every day in practice. I dunked over my teammate one day, and everybody was like, man, you really Superman. We gonna call you Superman. It had nothing to do with Shaq. You know what I'm saying? I guess he took that as saying it's being disrespectful, but why would I be disrespectful to somebody who paved the way for all of us bigs, you know? We pay homage and honor to the ones who came before us, but when it's our time, we gonna get out there and go. So when I'm playing Shaq, I'm going at him. I'm talking shit. You ain't Superman no more, nigga. I'm Superman. Whatever it may be, because it's competition. But as soon as we step off the court, that's my brother. That's the OG. You know what I'm saying? I think people kind of took that as a disrespect, and I have nothing but love for Shaq. So even now, the last time I saw him, we got a chance to chop it up and finish the beef or whatever it was, and now we good. But
Cube, I'm glad you didn't hold none of this against Dwight, okay? Between the Shaq and
Nah,
stuff.
nah. Whatever they did in the NBA, they're forgiven. You know what I mean? Come on and rock with the big three. You know, it's really all about, you know, seeing these guys play at the highest level, you know, for the fans. You know, I don't do this for me because I can spend a lot less money if I did, but it's for the fans, you know, it's for, you know, the people who sit around after the finals looking for something to do, waiting for the NFL to start, and now they got the big three. So I'm just glad, you know, a player of his stature came to our league, does a lot for our league. You know, I wish more guys, you know what I mean, more superstars come to the league, you know, when they, you know, done playing in the NBA. You know, give us a year or two, you know, to help blow this up for, you know, for the future, for players who are not superstars, for players who don't end the game on their own terms. You know what I mean? They get kicked out, basically, or they say, you know, we don't have a place for you. And so, you know, some of them got to go overseas. Most of them do. You know, a lot of our guys play overseas, you know, all over the world, but they want to play at home, you know what I mean, in front of, you know, they fans, in front of they friends, in front of their kids, mama, daddy, grandmama coming to the game. So, you know, I'm just happy that he came to play with the big three.
Now, at one time, you had there were certain things that you had to do to play in the league, right? You had to get to be over 22. You had to have NBA experience. Have you changed that at all?
Yeah, we have, you know, and now it's 22 and up. And
so it doesn't matter if you played in the league or not?
No, it doesn't matter, because what we realize is 3-on-3 is its own sport. You know, it's different than 5-on-5. You know, 5-on-5 you can be a specialist. You know, you could be a rebound guy, defensive guy, or a three-point guy. But in 3-on-3, you got to have all-around skills. You got to be able to pass, dribble, shoot, and defend at a high level. And so we realized, like, we need to create our own athletes, our own superstars, because there's some people who they wasn't good in the 5-on-5 NBA, you know what I mean? But they're great in the big three, and vice versa. Some guys were great in the NBA, but when they get to the big three, they get locked up. So it's its own sport. So we need to create our own athletes.
Now, also, I noticed that, you know, we talked about it last time you were here, that it felt like the NBA and other leagues were kind of following your guide, right? Meaning it's not just a three-point line anymore. The NBA is thinking about doing a 4-point line and things like that. Do you think they follow and watch what you're doing and try to mimic what you're doing?
Definitely. You know, we changed the game in a lot of ways. You know, we got a running list, you know what I mean? You know, I got to pull up the list, but it's a few things we've been clocking, you know, and it's more than 20. And so that means we're changing the game for the better. And so it's great because we feel like we have some great rules. We have great innovations, but they're all designed for the big three, for the 3-on-3 game. And so the NBA take a few things. I'm cool with that. I done took a lot from them too. So, you know, it's mutual. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's really all about making sure people love the basketball that's being played. And the big three, we play the game the right way.
I wanted to ask you, Q, what do you think the NBA fears most about the big three? Is it the format? Is it the independence? Or just the influence y'all have with, like, retired stars like Dwight?
I really think it's the independence. You know, they think they own basketball, you know, but kids don't run out and say, Mom, I'm going to go play the NBA. You know, they run out and say, I'm going to go play basketball. So it's owned by all of us. And the fact that we do things to change the game, to make our game better. You know, we ain't trying to change the NBA. So I think they don't like that we're forward moving. You know, we was the first to embrace mental health. We was the first league to embrace CBD use. The first league to have a lady coach men and coach to a championship. So we've been first in these places where they should have been. And I don't think they dig that, you know, at the end of the day.
You're a lifetime Laker fan, Cube. Dwight, you played for the Lakers, and y'all won a championship in 2020. How do you feel about people discrediting that championship, saying that the bubble championship don't count?
Can I answer that?
I want both of you.
Both.
Yeah.
Well, how do you discredit something that everybody wanted?
Because we weren't the only team that played.
Yeah, like all of them wanted it. All of them played to get it. And you can't discredit it when everybody want it and one person come out with it and everybody can't look and say, that wasn't nothing. Nah, everybody wanted it. Everybody played hard for it. And Lakers won the championship, man. You know what I mean?
It was the best team before it even started. Before we even got to the bubble, we was the best team. I just felt like because it was LeBron and the Lakers, then it's like, nah, that didn't really count. But then why don't you take away the lockout year? That happened before that. It was a lockout.
With the Spurs.
And they still won. Somebody had to win. Somebody had to lose. But I just feel like it's an excuse. I got my ring, and I'm happy about it. I don't care.
Why did they break that team up so fast?
That's what I want to know.
Y'all won.
Damn.
That was crazy.
I don't know, man.
That's
you know
crazy.
something.
I wish. I'm still over here devastated. Mental health. I'm hurting like hell.
So they just called y'all like, yo, we breaking the band up.
They
Now
didn't
you gonna try
call
to
us.
run it back.
They didn't call us.
Just
I
start
didn't get
cutting
no
and
phone
waving
call.
and trading.
Yeah, I just saw some more players that got signed to the Lakers, and it wasn't me.
Damn.
Yeah, that hurt.
Well, was there a specific moment when you realized the NBA wasn't about basketball anymore and it was about narratives?
Man, after I left for Orlando, you know, I just felt like it wasn't about basketball. It was politics. It was numbers. And it wasn't just about the passion in the game that we love. It was just about everything else. And, you know, now I feel like it's oversaturated with talent. And now the money is so high that, you know, people not playing for love anymore. They just, you know, playing to get a check. You know, so just feel different.
What would you advise a young player? Because, you know, at one time, players would play on their team until they retired and then they died. Now it seems like players are taking more control and saying, nah, I don't want to play here anymore. I want to go here. I want to go here. I want to go here. And what does that do to that player's legacy?
Well, it's how the media control it after that. They the ones that control the narrative. But I think every player should have the right to decide what they want to do with their career because the teams are going to do that anyway. When they want to make a decision to move somebody, cut somebody, trade somebody, they don't take no, what about their family? They don't care. You know what I'm saying? When we get traded or, you know, whatever, we have to leave that day and go to the other city and start right away. They don't care about none of that stuff. So, you know, the players is taking it like, nah, I got to do me. And, you know, back then, a lot of players was trying to do the right thing by staying with a team, staying loyal to the organization and stuff. But then now you see it's no loyalty. So it's like you got to do what's really best for you and get as much as you can. You know,
Did you want to finish your career in Orlando? Was that your goal?
When I first got there, yeah. I didn't want to leave because I'm like, man, they drafted me. #1 pick. I'm coming from the smallest school in Atlanta to Orlando. I'm like, man, this is it. I want to stay here forever. We lose. They get rid of the team. I'm like, damn, I don't think they really want us to win here like this. And I think I made an emotional decision, too, at the time. Like, man, let me just go somewhere else that might want to win. And, you know, sometimes you make some decisions that ain't too good. But
You wish you stayed?
on some ends, yeah. But then I'm like, man, if I wouldn't have left, I probably wouldn't have end up in L.A. to get the championship. So, man, ain't no telling how it would have turned out.
It seemed like Orlando was the perfect system for you, though. Like they even though they didn't put the best players around you all the time, it still was tailored for Dwight Howard to be the best version of Dwight Howard.
Yeah, they did. When you're young and you think you got everything, sometimes you want more, and sometimes less is more. So, I wanted more than what I probably needed at the time. And as you get older, you start to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you stay focused with, you're that mental health, but how do you stay focused with everything that goes on in your life? And it seems like everything's always on the net. How do you still focus on pulling up and playing basketball all the time, training and your family? Like, how do you keep all the BS out of your head?
Stay off the internet for one.
You never off the internet. You always responding.
No, that's not, well, be quiet. Say something, but,
you got a ghost tweeter?
I might. But no, I'm not a person that wants to get too heavily involved with what people are saying, because I know people are going to talk and they're going to have an opinion, and that could keep you from getting your goal in life. So sometimes I've always cared about what people say too much, and lately I've just been like, man, fuck it. I'm going to just stay off all this stuff, focus on what I got to focus on, which is my children, my health, my spirit, and keep moving forward. And people going to always talk. I hate it. I hate being on the net sometimes, but it is what it is. I can't do nothing about it.
You'll pop out dancing every once in a while. I saw you mess that dance up with Steve from Milwaukee,
Lord.
uptown, downtown. I said, well,
I can't move my knee like that.
Yeah, talking about you known for dancing.
I am known for dancing.
Not that dance.
Well, he's 39 now.
The dancing back then was the nay-nay, the snap,
Soulja Boy, this, that,
all that stuff. All this new age stuff, my knees is not capable of doing
Because
that.
it's not in your DNA. All that other stuff is from Atlanta.
Yeah,
You know what
that's
I mean?
not from Atlanta. That's
Yeah.
Midwest.
Well, speaking of Atlanta, I got to ask because I'm the woman in the room. Are you legally married to my girl, Amy Luciani?
That's not her name, but
That's not her name.
Amy Luciani, her name?
no, that's
Sound
a
like a rap
stage
name.
name. That's a rap
She
name.
is actually a rapper. She is an artist,
Oh.
actually. So that's her rap name. Are you legally married to her?
We are.
Okay, that's what's up. I had to ask because, it was reported that you guys were, but it was never no confirmation, anything like that. So I want to know.
Oh, yeah. There's always some rumors, but just keep that side of my life private so everybody ain't got nothing to say.
Yeah.
Keep that private and keep it moving.
Well, what's her name since that ain't her name?
Amber
Amber okay.
Rose.
All right, but that is her rap name though.
Correct.
Okay.
He said, do you know? He said, I know.
Yeah,
I just don't be saying it like,
because he told me that your name. I mean, that's what we know. I mean, because
So
we
you
listen
married
to
to
our
Amber
music.
Rose?
Not that one.
I know, but that's the headline.
Right.
That's what's going to come out next. Dwight Howard with Amber Rose. It's your fault.
So that's the headline.
So, Cube, do you ever see the Big Three becoming a retirement pipeline? Not just for players, but for like former
Hell no,
coaches?
we don't want nobody retired.
Okay.
We want you.
Yo,
we don't want no
fresh, come
retired
up.
players. We want active players.
Okay.
I think a lot of guys who play in the Big Three are still active. They haven't retired. They just haven't
Just
played
because you're not in the NBA, that don't mean you retired.
Right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of guys who played in the NBA, it's not like they retiring or they stopped playing because they're not good enough. It's only 29 teams. It's only so many spots. The league is not trying to bring in a lot of veterans because a lot of times we see and we know what's going on, so we trying to get the youngest game. I just feel like they be like, nah, we got to keep these old heads out of the locker room because they giving the youngins too much game.
But a lot of the guys who play in the Big Three, man, can still hoop. You got Joe Johnson.
He's 45, something like that. He still can play in the league. Montrezl Harrell, he's been all over the world playing. He can still hoop. Paul Millsap, Greg Monroe. You got a lot of guys that are playing in the NBA that can still hoop, but it's just opportunity.
Yeah.
And then
Nobody could play 5-on-5 for too long, man. You gotta get that up.
I mean, 82 games.
A lot of running.
And,
a lot of running.
back-to-backs, 3 games and 4 nights and all that crazy stuff, So it's not like these dudes can't get out there and play an NBA game. It's like the next game the next day is
a lot
going
on
to
the
be
body.
the one, So these guys, what I've noticed is that they've honed their skills to the highest level. And if you don't have a bag, you're not going to get loose in the big three. So to see these guys with the bag, with the skill level, and have every trick of the trade to get past each other to get a shot is magnificent to watch, you know, to see actual craftsmen do their thing on the basketball court. You know, with the youngins, you know, they jump higher, maybe run faster, but some of them don't know how to play basketball yet. They will learn, but they don't know how to play yet, you know. Most of the guys we got know how to play at a very high level, so it's great to watch them.
Now, Q, what was on that iPad that you needed back that fast? Like, was it the sequel
Everything.
to Friday? Like, what was on that iPad?
Everything, man. Everything. You know, it's my oldest iPad. You know, it's like the second iPad ever made because it got everything in it. You know, it got the history of the big three in it. You know what I mean? I mean, the sketches and all the stuff we was doing to you know, make it professional. So I wanted it back, man. Gang of pictures in there, a lot of documents. I needed my shit back.
You got it back.
Yeah, I got it back. Yeah.
You know, Dwight, you played in the NBA, of course. You played in Taiwan, now the big three. Which crowd gives you the most pure love?
Man, being in Taiwan was different. But again, they don't get a chance to see us players often, you know, play. So, you know, I think that when I was there, it was just like, man, we've been waiting for somebody to come for almost 20 years to play here. So, you know, this is new for us. But it's nothing like being here in the States and playing in front of your peoples and stuff like that, man.
Was the money good overseas?
Money is amazing anywhere when you can make it. But it's also
Because you decided not to go back, so I was like, because you know, I would assume since they don't get players, they pay excessive.
They did, and actually the team I was on in Taiwan, after that season, we made 160 million USD.
Wow.
In 8 months. And the team went crazy over there. And after that, I was like, man, this is good living, but I think it's awesome for other players to see too. If you don't make it to the NBA, it's not the end-all, be-all. You can still play in America. You can still play overseas, still get the same love and passion. You may not have the same M&Ms like the NBA, multi-millions, but when you want your peace, when you want your family and all these other things, sometimes it's not going to come with millions of dollars. And playing overseas is a great experience, so I'm thankful for that.
What did you learn about yourself in that environment that the NBA never allowed you to explore?
Well, I think the NBA is, when you're in the NBA, you have to stick to a certain script to how they want the player to be. So when I was in Orlando, and at the time they didn't need a center trying to shoot threes or play in the perimeter, they needed me to be in the paint and dominating the paint. So, you know, I understood that looking back on it, but as a youngin', I'm like, man, I want to do everything. When I got to Taiwan, they coach like, here's the basketball, do whatever you want. So after doing that for a year, I'm like, I'm good on that. I'm tired. You know, I done did all that my whole life, so now it's just about enjoying it and enjoying this whole process with the fans and all that stuff, because I can't play basketball till I'm 90. At some point, it got to stop, but this experience is just really great to have, to be able to play overseas, to be able to make a living outside of the NBA, to do something that I love. It's the best life.
Can an international player, this is both questions, be a face of the NBA, and can an international player be the face of the big three?
No.
I mean, they can try. You know, it's really about the American fan. You know, they want to see. They know we got a gang of people and kids that can ball. You know, so they want to see, you know, one of our own make it to the top. You know, they know so many are left on the sidelines that can hoop. So, you know, when they see a foreigner make it to the top, even though they can hoop, they always feel like, you know, I know 10 dudes that should be there, you know. So there's gonna always be that. So, you know, I think if you ball out, you should get shine. But at the end of the day, it's really what the people want, and the people really, you know, they'd rather have a, you know, Ja Morant be the man than probably a Giannis. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the nature of the build.
What do you think, Dwight? When you got Luka, you got Joker, you got Shy, you got so many players busting ass
They'll
right
never
now.
be the face of the NBA.
I just think it's different now. Like when we came up, it wasn't just no one person that was the face. It was a lot of us that was, in it. At first, it started out with somebody like Jordan being the face of the NBA. Then a couple years later, it's a list of guys who now people are like, man,
Shaq,
I want to be
Kobe,
like
LeBron,
Shaq,
right.
Kobe, LeBron. I want to be like KD. All these different players.
Steph.
Now I think they're putting too much onus on who's going to be the face of the league instead of letting the league just be what it is and let people choose who they want to be their favorite player. Like you trying to force somebody. And a lot of these guys might not want that attention. You done heard Jokic talk about it a couple of times. I just want to hoop. I like horse races and all that stuff. A lot of times guys now is like, man, being famous and celebrity for basketball ain't what it used to be. They just want to do their own thing in peace. So, I think that's a hard conversation. Even Ja, he probably want to be the face or be somebody like that. But look how he's getting treated. He's out there playing around.
I don't think the NBA want him to be the face of it.
Nah,
but
they do him like
the
AI.
people wanted him, but the NBA kind of snubbed that out a little bit.
If Anthony Edwards wins, he'll be the face, like easily. If he starts winning,
But he's been winning. It's just so many. The league is oversaturated with talent. There's so many good guys now that play in this league. You can pick and choose who you want. Somebody could be like, man, I want to be like Anthony Edwards. Somebody else could be like, man, I want to be like KD. I want to be like LeBron. I want to be like Steph. Back then it was, I want to be like Mike. You still had Patrick. You still had Lonzo. You still had all these other players, but everybody wanted to be Michael Jordan.
because he won.
He did. He
Yeah.
won. He won, but 6 out of 14 years.
Well, you don't count the.
You gotta
it was
count
15, but you don't count the 14 and 15.
You gotta count all the years.
Yeah, we don't count the Wizards years.
Oh, that's not fair.
We don't count the
That's not fair.
Wizards
You
years.
do that to LeBron,
But I mean, but LeBron has been consistently good for.
and so
21
has
years.
Jordan.
I mean,
Not the Wizard years.
Jordan was
retired.
killing the Wizards.
Jordan retired twice and came back.
yeah.
So,
And that was a
we
business
gotta-
decision.
Yeah,
He played for the team he owned.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see what happened if he would have just stayed and
Stayed
And
played.
not play and not win
Stayed
out.
and played. Yeah,
Not retired.
you probably have 8 in a row.
Now,
Maybe.
Kaitlin Clark, you said you were going to have her on the Big Three if you could have made it happen. Were you going to change the whole league for that?
What do you mean by change the league?
Because Kaitlin.
She's a woman. Say it.
No, because
I mean,
Kaitlin
what
Clark's a
can
woman.
you
She's
do
the
to
only
change
woman-
the league?
No, because she's the only, she's the only woman
Make
that
everybody-
you have in the league. So
Don't foul her too hard.
No.
I wasn't gonna say that,
You
but
got to be able to play. Like we wouldn't have did nothing different. Either she could have been able to play at that level or not.
Kaitlin Clark is not backing down Dwight Howard. Like,
No,
that's gonna
she's
be
not
a
that kind
switch
of
off.
player.
Why would that
She's
even
a
happen?
small, kind of
Switch off,
point guard. We've had the only reason why it even is a thing because we had small guys get loose. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, Nate Robinson, they got loose in our league. So we felt like a player like that could get loose if they, we couldn't say she couldn't play. Like it ain't up to us to say you can't play. You got to throw the basketball out and see what happened. And, so we made the offer. It didn't happen. And we moved on.
CC.
Is it true Shaq is going to walk you out for your Hall of Fame speech?
That's what he said. I called him the other day. He said, hey, big fella, you want me to walk you out? Nah, but yeah, he's supposed to.
You said you wanted him, KG, and Kareem.
Hakeem Olajuwon.
Hakeem Olajuwon. Okay.
Yeah, I love Hakeem. I really would love for Kareem to be there, all the big man GOATs. I still have Kareem as my GOAT. I don't know why people never talk about him like that, but as far as strictly basketball, what he did from high school, college, NBA, you can't name too many people that got a better career than him. And he had 2 names to do it with. So he killed with one name, then came back and did it again with another name, and he don't get talked about. So I guess it's because he a big man.
Yeah, the big man until recently hasn't really been looked at as a skill position almost.
Why not?
I don't know, because Hakeem Olajuwon was super skilled.
That
Kareem
has
was super skilled.
It has with Patrick. It has with Spurs, David
Patrick
Robinson,
wasn't
Tim
skilled
Duncan.
like Hakeem and Kareem.
Who wasn't?
Patrick Ewing.
Patrick was skilled.
Not like Hakeem and Kareem.
Well, why? How could you say
Patrick
Kareem
was
was skilled? He just had the right hand hook.
That was
Running
finesse, though.
But you said skill. Skill mean right hand, left hand.
Patrick
jump
drop step,
shot.
turn around, jump shot, fade away. Patrick has skills.
Patrick Chua had everything. Remember the big old shoes he had too? Yeah.
Hakeem had a bag, though.
Hakeem had a bag.
Mm-hmm.
He did. He did have a bag. He was probably one of the coldest centers. But the most dominant center got to be Shaq.
Yeah, Shaq, of course.
Now, Ice Cube, I'm not gonna lie, I'm right here. I'm fangirling. I'm like starstruck to even be sitting here with you. I want to know, am I gonna ever get a chance to start? Yo, this nigga a clown, yo.
He start snorting. You hear him over there?
I want to audition for one of the Cube Vision projects coming up. I don't even know if you even
Shoot your
got
shot,
some
Jess.
shit coming up or what, yo. But I'm letting you know I'm here. I got if you looking for some pictures, I got some movie ideas. I'm writing.
No problem.
Yeah, man.
Cube, you should give her a character right now and let her do it right now live on the radio.
I shit. He tell me
Give her a character right now.
Nah,
let her go for it.
I'll let her, do it right. You know what I'm saying? When we got
Yeah.
something right, we'll let you
Okay.
come in and,
I just wanted to
do
know
your
that.
thing.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Because I don't play basketball, so I can never be in the big three, but I definitely act.
Yeah, that's
Cube
right.
Vision.
No problem.
All right, thank you.
Now, how can they get tickets to support you and make sure they hit?
Oh, I got
audiences?
two more questions.
Oh,
One
my
for
bad.
Q, one for Dwight. What do you hope Dwight will do? I mean, what do you hope Dwight joining the league will do for the big three?
More attention,
Mm-hmm.
for the league, more, more interest, from everybody that love basketball, from the fans to the sponsors to, everybody that, we need to make this happen. So, you get a superstar like Dwight, you got a lot of eyeballs on the league, I don't condone fighting, but the fight did put a lot of, we was viral as hell this week because of
Steven
that.
Jackson.
But but the thing is, it's about the game. It's not, the antics will only go so far. But the game is great. People, it seemed fun to play and fun to watch. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's all about.
All right.
And Dwight, we see you do a lot of commentary now. Do you feel a responsibility to reintroduce your story in your own words?
I just think it's a different chapter, a new chapter in my story. There's no way I can go back and change anything that has ever happened in my past. And, I can't do that, but what I can do is just this next chapter of my life is make it better than my last chapter, My last chapter was really great. I had some great things happen, and I had some misfortunate things happen as well. But, I'm still here today, and I'm very grateful to be a part of the Big Three. I've also always wanted to come on the Breakfast Club, so to be here, is awesome as well, man. It's a dream come true. And by playing in the Big Three, it's a chance to really hone in more of my skills as a basketball player, things that I work on daily or get a chance to do them in the Big Three. And also, I know you was talking about doing a movie with Cube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I got long lines started. You know what I'm saying?
I know you do, man.
It's cool. I give everybody a shot.
All right. Well, we appreciate you for joining us. Definitely when Big Three comes to your city,
thank you
make
for
sure you
the
check out the watch.
jerseys too, man.
And salute for the
Yeah.
jerseys.
Oh, man. Anytime, every time.
Yeah. Word. Thank you
We were
for the
supposed to get a number 3 put on them, but I don't know what
Big
happened.
Three Breakfast Club
yeah,
jersey.
Club on the back.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
hard.
Yeah, we got to get y'all a jersey number on there at least.
Yeah. Come on now. We
Appreciate
got
y'all.
to get that 3 on there.
It's the Breakfast Club. It's Ice Cube, Dwight Howard.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.